It's time for the Brouhaha Sports Show. Brouhaha Sports with award-winning sports writer Dale McKee and co-host Marshall Wood. Talking sports with the legends of the game and famous sports personalities. Brouhaha! Now to Marshall and Dale with tonight's guest.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Brouhaha. Once again, Dale McKee over here in Marshall Wood, lined up, posted up, ready to go. How you doing, Dale?
I'm doing good. How you doing, Marshall?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing a lot better. I've been sick some. A couple of weeks ago, when I was on the show, you could hardly. Last week was a little better today. Slow process. They don't heal as rapidly as they used to.
You look good either way.
Need to clean your glasses, Dale. Looking good ain't never been one of my things.
Marshall, I don't wear glasses.
Oh, let me clean mine then. How's things going for you? Everything in the sports world lined up and all the sports behaving just like you want them to?
I don't know, Coach. Listen, I was getting ready to write my sideline view this week, and I try to limit it to a certain word count because the newspapers, they only got a certain amount they want to put in.
Well, you got carried away, didn't you?
Well, I ended up with about 1,000 words, and I had to cut about 350 words out of it. That
man, you were rolling, son. Do we have the uncut version here, or are we going to get?
No, but it was dealing with Ole Miss and State, tennis and golf.
Yeah.
And I think all that they had done. I tried to keep a few things in there that were unique to our state. So
like the Kentucky Derby.
Well, I just feel like the Kentucky Derby was like the major attraction of the week, and at least you need to say a little something about it,
Yeah.
People might have missed it,
Yeah.
Kind of snuck up on us this year, didn't it?
It did. May got here before I knew it.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you something. I learned a little something watching this Kentucky Derby. You ever been to the horse races? Have we talked about this?
Mm.
I've been a few times. It's a lot of fun. Dog races are fun too, but anyway, the horses are, to me, a little more fun. Going to the dog races is a lot cheaper than going to the horse races, but they're both a lot of fun. You ever heard the expression, when he won it by a nose? Mm-hmm. Well, that's basically what happened Saturday.
I don't know if he won it. I think he won it by a nose hair, didn't he?
Yeah, it was close. But I got to looking at that, and in the picture that they had in the paper, they had them and you saw the nose, But did you look at the feet? And I never realized this, but if you look at these horses from the side and where the positions of their feet are, it came to me, sometimes the foot might cross the finish line before the nose. And so if it's a body part, the foot, you could win by a hoof, because if the hoof gets on the one horse, gets ahead of the nose on the other one, or both of their feet get there at the same time, the one with the first foot there, hoof, I got to get my body parts right, because on horses it's hooves. But I never knew that. I never thought about
that. Tell me, since you're an expert in this.
I am an expert.
Okay. So if these two horses are running,
mm-hmm.
Of course there was 3 the other day, but if there's 2 running,
mm-hmm.
Okay, and say one's got his foot over the line, but he hadn't put it down.
Doesn't matter, because the nose never touches the ground. Ooh. How you like that? Now get you some of that, boy. Look at here. Now I know our listeners can't see that, but I'm showing them a picture, and there's the winner over there. There's old Mystic Dan, and he's winning by a nose. But look at the feet. It's a little closer, but I got the reason. If they'd ducked his head at that time, the other one would have won. That's how close it was. The other one could have won with a foot if Mystic Dan's head hadn't been up.
I think I heard, they were introducing. I didn't know anything about any of them. And anyway,
don't be soft on us.
No, I picked that number 6 to win.
Oh, number 6.
Yeah, he was a steal. I think at the end of it, it was 2. He had 2 names. First name, second name, I guess, but his last name was like Steele. I can't remember his name. But anyway, he was in the hunt for a little bit, but he faded back there.
I know how he feels. I've been in the hunt a few times and managed to always fade a little at the end. Missed it by like Maxwell Smart. Remember Maxwell Smart? Mm-hmm. Missed it by that much. That much, Dale. Mm-hmm. What else is going on?
I think that was it. Just the Derby.
Just the Derby. Well, it was a big one. Have you ever been to the Kentucky Derby?
I've never been to a horse race.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, I need to take you one time. Okay. Well, you need to take me.
Well, why don't you take me to Kentucky Derby? If
I ain't going to the Derby.
Okay.
I ain't going. Too many people up there. Well, that's too big a crowd of folks. It's pretty, though.
Huh? Well, I was noticing that. I guess that's like our World Series or Super Bowl, right?
I guess this is big.
I mean, it's a big thing.
It's a big deal. It's been around probably longer than the
150 years.
Yeah, than the Super Bowl and the World Series.
Super Bowl. I think they go to Baltimore to the Preakness in May 18th.
Okay.
It's the next race, second leg of the Triple.
The Preakness, and then the last one is the.
Oh, they go up
Belmont Stakes.
Yeah, up in New York.
In New York.
Yeah.
Man.
So, but I just noticed that stadium. And how much they probably put into that for just that one race.
Ooh.
Oh, I'm sure they have other races.
Oh, they
there.
do. There's multiple races.
I think there was a race on Friday over there, and this horse supposedly won it.
Yeah. I think to the horse races I've been to, of course, I've never been to one of the Triple Crown races, but I think you don't just go there for one race because it only lasts like a couple of minutes. But I think they have a bunch of races, and then the finale is the actual Derby, and I think that's the way it is at all of them. But don't hold me to that now. But I've never knowing. Hey, wait a minute.
You're the expert.
Let me say this: not knowing what I'm talking about has never slowed me down.
That's true. That's true.
But now, then the reason I can get away with that because I got the man that knows everything sitting right here. I'm looking at him, and I bet you know who our guest is tonight. I hope you do.
We have a guest.
Yeah, well, I hope so.
we've got a Biloxi native. He comes from a very athletic family. His brother. Trivia question, was going to succeed Archie Manning at Ole Miss at quarterback, but he got his knee hurt.
Oh.
About the third, fourth game. And a guy named Norris Weiss came in and took his place.
Norris Weiss.
And Norris was a really good
Went to the Denver Broncos, and I watched Norris Weiss. My good friend James Rat Williams and I drove to New Orleans and watched Norris Weiss and the Broncos play the Dallas Cowboys.
And then the Super Bowl.
In the Super Bowl. I can't remember what year it was.
Norris actually scored.
We almost remembered the way to get home.
Well, what I remember about that game is, besides the catch that the Cowboy receiver made for a touchdown when he stretched out, Norris Weiss scored a touchdown in that game. And, of course, Norris passed at a very young age, about 10, 15 years ago.
I'd forgotten that he had passed away.
Yeah, he had passed away. Yeah. But anyway, tonight we have Barry Lyons. He played for the 1986 New York Mets. Have you ever heard of the 1986 New York Mets?
Didn't they win a big something or other?
Yeah, they kind of won a tournament there.
Kind of like the Kentucky Derby of baseball, huh?
Yeah, kind of.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's take a break to hear from our sponsor, and then Dale and I'll be back with tonight's guest, Barry Lyons, right after this commercial break.
Phillips Building Supply in Laurel, your hometown building supply store since 1954. We are locally owned and pride ourselves on helping our customers find exactly what they need. From foundations to roofs to doors and windows, Phillips has it. For tools, hardware, lumber, and plywood, visit Phillips Building Supply.
Welcome to the show, Barry Lyons. Barry, it's baseball season, isn't it?
It is. Hot and heavy. Things are getting going. We're a month into the Major League season. College season is coming up to postseason time in a couple of weeks. So, yeah, it's an exciting time, no doubt.
Well, listen, fill everybody in on your status. I know last year you took a little break and went up to Kentucky, wasn't it? And coached a little minor league baseball.
Yeah.
Tell us about that experience.
Well, I was made an offer by my nephew who actually bought the Atlantic League team in Lexington, Kentucky, and I sort of came out of semi-retirement and put the uniform back on and had an opportunity to manage the independent team, the Atlantic League, which is the premier independent league in the country. And I enjoyed it for the most part, but being away from home, being away from my family, that wasn't necessarily fun. And I just, it's a different animal, getting back on those long bus rides and sort of some of the other things, the managing and the game day and doing what I do on the field I really enjoyed, but some of the other things I didn't enjoy as much, and certainly being away from home, it led me to decide to come on back home and continue my role with the Shuckers, who I really miss being at the ballpark here in Biloxi and being around minor league baseball here in my hometown. So it was 1 year thing. I enjoyed it for the most part, but certainly not looking to go back to that. I'm happy and content being here in Biloxi.
Well, did you have any players with Mississippi connections on your Lexington team last year?
I did. I had one player, Thomas Dillard, who played for the Biloxi Shuckers for 2 years. After his career at Ole Miss, he was, I think, a fifth-round pick by the Brewers, and he topped out at Double-A. He didn't. I don't think he produced in the manner they had hoped he would, and he had a great season for us last year in the Atlantic League, and the caliber of play in the Atlantic League is probably somewhere. On some nights it's high A to Double-A. Some nights it might be Double-A scratching the surface of Triple-A. But Thomas actually, I think, hit 38, 39 home runs this past year, and drove in 100 runs. But we struggled the second half. We had a pretty good first half and struggled the second half. But I had a couple of other guys from Mississippi that came in briefly that things didn't work out for them. But Thomas was the one guy that did have a big year for us, and I think he's in the American Association. I read or heard something here recently.
Well, that's good. Well, listen, what is your role with the now, are the Shuckers going to be at home this week? Is that correct?
They are. We opened at home on April the 5th, I think it was, for a 3-game set. Then they went on the road for a week, and then we had one full home stand, and then they've been gone for 2 whole weeks. So it's like the season sort of started, but it really hasn't started in some ways. But I'm ambassador for the team. I do a lot of stuff in the community, represent the ball club. And, of course, we have new ownership now, and we're really excited about that. Our new owner is really John Tracy's his name, and he took over last season. But this season he's come in and just done some amazing things here at the ballpark. But I'm broadcasting also one night a week during the homestand on Thursday night. So I did a couple of 3 college games this spring that we hosted here in Biloxi, the 2 Mississippi State games and the 1 Southern Miss game. And I really enjoyed being in the booth and broadcasting the games. And I'm have hopes that maybe that might lead to something going into next year as far as some of the ESPN Plus streaming games. I'm hoping to make myself available to get on some more games, but I really enjoyed that, and I'm looking forward to. We did one Thursday night broadcast last homestand, and that was good, and I'm looking forward to this Thursday night. But I'm an ambassador, do a lot of meeting and greeting in the ballpark, and visiting folks up in the suites, and I watch the game some, but I'm more socializing and fellowshipping more than anything, and I really enjoy that.
Well, listen, now next week y'all are head back to Jackson to play the Mississippi Braves, and a question about the Braves, do you think it's going to have much of an effect on the Shuckers as far as doing away with a rivalry game there, if there is such a thing as a rivalry game?
Well, not so much. I mean, it's great to have the Braves in the league and a team in the Jackson metro area. I'm sad that they're leaving. I'm not surprised that the Braves honored their 20-year commitment, but they chose to move on to greener pastures. And the main reason, from what I've read and heard, is they want to have all their affiliates in the state of Georgia, and that makes sense. So it's unfortunate for Pearl and for the fans that have been supporting the Mississippi Braves, but I don't know that it'll have much of an effect down here. Maybe we'll get some more people from, above Hattiesburg and, closer to Jackson that would normally drive up to Pearl to see the Braves play. Maybe they'll start coming down here, which would be great to get more fans down here. But it's going to be different. I'm disappointed for Central Mississippi losing a minor league team. I know it hasn't been supported in recent years as it was early on, and things change and life happens, and there's so much going on today. Minor league baseball, there's some cities, some communities that really, really draw well and have done so for many years, but most of them, I think, are feeling the pinch, and they're not losing out, but they don't have the numbers that they would like to have. There's just so much other stuff going on that gets people's attention. But minor league baseball to me is great family entertainment, and it's a great networking opportunity. And there's so many positive things about it that it's still exciting for me, and I enjoy it. And we've got some really new things here at our ballpark that our owner is invested in and really catering to kids more so. And there's a splash pad and a sand beach out in right field with beach chairs and umbrellas, and a tiki hut for the adults. All the suites are redone. The souvenir shop was doubled in size. Just a lot of sprucing up, and it's not an old ballpark, but it needed some touch-ups. And this guy, John Tracy, our new owner, has done a fabulous job with that. He's got Phase 2 and Phase 3 over the next 2 years after this season of doing more to enhance the game day experience for our fans. And we're excited. I mean, like I said, we've only had 9 games at home so far in the first month, a little over a month. And, but I think we're home a good bit here in May, so that ought to be good.
Well, that's a good report. Tell me about the now. Is it still MGM Park, or are they going to change the name of that?
Well, currently it is not MGM Park. All of that signage has been removed. The Beau Rivage, who owns the property that the ballpark is built on, was leased to the city for $1 a year. And there are so many different variables that were in play when this deal was done, 9 years, 10 years ago, that them naming it MGM Park was, I don't know that they paid for that or if they did, it's sort of a funky deal between the city, Beau Rivage, the Shuckers organization, and it's just a lot of moving parts. But the Beau Rivage has taken the name MGM off and has given the rights or the opportunity to the city to sell the naming rights. And they have announced publicly that Keesler Federal Credit Union, one of our local banks down here, who has been a good supporter of ours, has won a bid and and they're going to have the naming rights to the ballpark, but none of that has been approved by Major League Baseball as yet, from what I understand. And until that happens, the ballpark is named or known as Shuckers Ballpark. And until something official happens, that's what I call it, that's what we call it. But at some point, probably sooner than later, I would assume that this naming rights deal will take effect.
Well, listen, people that are listening say, hey, I'd like to go down there and see a ball game. Is there, could you tell us kind of like how much it would cost someone to come down there?
Yeah, there's, I don't have the exact numbers in front of me. They have tickets online available through the Biloxi Shuckers website, biloxishuckers.com. You can go through Ticketmaster or one of those other ticket broker operations, but they're going to add on fees. But for me, best thing to do is just go online to the website, and you can sort of pick your seats there, or you can just call the office and purchase your tickets, over the phone and talk to a sales rep at the office directly. And that number is on the website as well. But BiloxiShuckers.com would be the place to go to get all the information you would need. But obviously, if you live close by, you can go early to the box office. They're open every day during the week, and every day there's a home game leading all the way up until game time, and or you can purchase them at the gate. But the day of the game, prior to entering the ballpark, I think you lose that $1 or $2 discount. But the tickets range from maybe $8 or $9 up until $25 maybe for the premium seats, and then they have the Cloud 7 Skybox is a luxury box suite with outdoor seating and indoor seating that comes with a really good buffet and beverages. It's a cash bar for alcohol, but your sodas and soft drinks and waters are all come with that buffet, and I think those tickets are $45 or $48. But that's getting you in the game, getting you in premium seats with a great view of the Gulf and great view of the ballpark, and a great buffet to eat on while you're there, and to fellowship with folks. So there's ticket prices in every range. There's food options pretty much in every range, and there's great food. There's a new kind of grab-and-go type lines that really helped in alleviating some of the long lines that we've had in the past when we've had big crowds. There's been a lot of upgrades and a lot of things done to enhance and make things better, and it's a great experience. I just encourage people to come down to Biloxi and come to the ball game. If you're a baseball fan, you're going to see some great baseball. If you just want to be entertained and get out and socialize and just get out in the fresh air and be entertained, then it's a great place for you there. And if you want to network or look for some business opportunities, certainly there's plenty of opportunity for you in that regard. And there's all kinds of kid stuff now that is really makes their options even more, with the splash pad and the beach and some of the other things. And then, of course, there's in between each inning, there's various kids contests and things of that nature on the field that gets a lot of kids really enjoy, get them involved in the game as well.
This is Marshall. I want to ask you a question, Barry. It's a beautiful facility, and it's really easy to find. I mean, it's the intersection of 110 and 90. I mean, you can't hardly miss it. It's at the base of the Beau Rivage. The question I have is, does it have its own parking? Is there parking right there by the facility, or do they use the Beau Rivage parking, or how does that work?
When the ballpark was built, there was an additional parking garage across right beyond the right field wall that the Beau Rivage used for their. When they, removed the name MGM from the park, they also gave the city the use of that parking garage.
Awesome. Okay.
And that is something that I don't know that it's been worked out on how that's going to be operated, who manages it. There's some things that unfortunately haven't been totally resolved in this whole thing that, in my opinion, should have been worked out, but I'm not going to badmouth anybody, but the city doesn't move as fast as we need them to. They don't do things the way we would like them to do, but that's another story for another day. But anyway, there's plenty of parking all along, right under I-110, which is just 100 yards away, maybe at most.
Right.
And there's all kind of parking throughout town and on Howard Avenue, but a lot of fans do park in the Beau Rivage garage. We don't advertise that as one of our parking spots, but many people do park across the street. You just have to take the little sky bridge over the highway, but it's very convenient as well. So there's parking all over the place, and that's never been an issue for us, thankfully. And hopefully we'll get this parking garage situation resolved and get that to be accessible as well, but I'm not sure the status of that at the moment.
Yeah. Well, listen, Barry, one of my jobs here is a timekeeper, and I appreciate that report on the parking lot, all that you said about the sugars. It's a great way to go have some family fun. We're out of time. We thank you so much for being with us. I'm going to ask you, if you would, to hold on for just a minute. We're going to break to a commercial, and then we'll have a proper goodbye after this break, okay? Sound good?
All right. Thank you, guys.
Yes, sir. We're going to take a break and hear from one of our sponsors, and Dale and I'll be back with tonight's final segment right after this commercial break.
Phillips Building Supply in Laurel, your hometown building supply store since 1954. We are locally owned and pride ourselves on helping our customers find exactly what they need. From foundations to roofs to doors and windows, Phillips has it. For tools, hardware, lumber, and plywood, visit Phillips Building Supply.
Welcome back. It's always this is Barry's second time to be with us over the how long have we been doing this, Dale? 2 or 3 years?
We've been doing it since August of 2021.
Yeah. Wow.
We were mere childs then.
No, just children. Now look at us.
Yeah.
He's in the right place for him. Not everybody can, to live the life he's lived and to travel and do the things he's done at the professional level and to be able to sit down there and take care of that place. What a blessing. And he addressed that, so that's super good.
They wouldn't have a minor league team in Biloxi without that guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're going to do anything else? Is this it or what?
Oh, you got anything else you want to say? Anything out there? Any kind of sports stuff? I got, you want to talk about? I mean, we don't have but just a couple of minutes, maybe at best, and or minute maybe, but I've got a whole big bunch of papers over here on Title IX. You ever heard of Title IX, Dale?
I've been involved in Title IX.
You care to tell people what Title IX is about?
That's a deep subject.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll tell you.
But it's making things equal between men and women.
Yeah, it's supposed to. But the thing I bring but we're gonna get into Title IX one day. We got enough time. It was the Title IX of Title IX of the Education Amendments of '72. Back in '72, the federal civil rights law, it prohibits discrimination on the basis of sex in education programs and activities on sport and all around to give women equal opportunity. It's kind of funny now how Title IX has so much been invested and made such great strides for women athletes, female athletes. But now it's not quite working like it used to look at it. In the current administration, well, it started back in the previous, a couple administrations ago, and then this administration has kind of reshaped Title IX to include some definitions that weren't in existence when it was first written. But we'll get to that at another time because it's going to take a pretty good bit of time to talk about that. But anything you want to say to our folks here before we go, Dale? Because anything else sports-wise?
Well, we just are, so proud. We've been on the air for 3 years, huh?
3 years.
Almost 3 years.
All of our fans, you guys, 3 or 4 of you out there, we sure.
I thought we had 5 now.
I think we got 5. I might have made one mad last week, but we're not going to talk about that. But anyway, we appreciate all you guys listening to us, and you can follow us during the week on the Facebook page to Brouhaha. But really, all the shows that we've done in the past are all cataloged and archived on our YouTube channel at the Brouhaha, and you can hear them all there. But we've come to the point in tonight's show where it is time to say goodbye, Dale.
Goodbye, Dale.
Goodbye, folks, and we'll see you next week for more of the Brouhaha. Get us out of here, Jamie.
You've been listening to the Brouhaha with Dale McKee and Marshall Wood. Heard Tuesday evening, 6 p.m. on WABO. For more of the Brouhaha, follow us during the week on Facebook and WABO.